In this video, I want to address two American stereotypes that I get very often when I am abroad, and just some that are very popular because we are in quarantine, so we have slightly more time to learn about it, and with everything going on, there's a lot of political unrest, so it's honestly time. That way we can all try to get better and improve, starting with ourselves. I want to get through this video kind of quick, and I might be looking at my notes a lot because I am filming this before work. I have to go into my full-time job, but we'll get into that a little bit later. The two major stereotypes I'm going to talk about is that Americans are racist, which goes into Americans also being ignorant or stupid or dumb. I'm going to be talking about those related to some current events. The stereotype that we're racist is obvious again with the second or another peak or rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, which I can't believe it's still a fight, but everyone knows racism is bad. That's why people are always like, no, I'm not racist. But saying you're not racist is really just a defense mechanism. It's just not enough. So many other countries were protesting for the Black Lives Matter movement, a movement about how American Black lives are treated. So if the whole world was fighting for it, how does that reflect on us? Like, it wasn't even their problem. I mean, it can be related to them, like I talked about in another video, but it's not their problem. Like, it started with us, and it's a fight that we are trying to stop, and the other people in the world are trying to help us. I just don't see how it can be such a small group of people just in one single country that doesn't agree. So is that really the right way if it's only a small group of people compared to so many in the world? And honestly, it's not even political. It's really just humanitarian. Like, people should be treated way better than how Black people are treated, and it's only them at a very disproportionate amount. If you happen to think it's because Black people are bad, you're still blaming a whole race, which is definitely racist, even if you say you're not racist. You're categorizing a whole group of people to how it acts. And if you think that's because that's what people are doing with the police, it's not, because the police are in a system where racism prevails versus where how Black people are just being treated. And even if you just still think that, Black people have been disadvantaged since the birth of this country. And if you just don't understand, would you even like to be treated how they're being treated right now? It's obviously not good. If you still don't agree with the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm not here to convince you to, but I just think you need to do some more self-educating before you can completely disregard what this matter is about, when there are so many people out there, even outside the US, fighting for this. If you have to, you can comment a question below. If you're not part of this Black Lives Matter movement, even after this uprising, and you're not willing to educate yourself, then you are part of the negative American stereotype. First off, the education part, that's like obviously why people stay ignorant. And then yeah, like BLM is trying to stop racism if you don't understand, and you're against that. When everyone knows it's bad, people know of this stereotype from our most obvious country representative, Trump, who blatantly says he's not racist too after doing racist things. Okay, I think I'm gonna end up just reading this Trump is one of the most obvious reasons why I love America, but it's not because of him. No way. It's because there's such a large group of people that see racism and all these injustices and are trying to stop them. They're talking about it, they are protesting about it, they just are doing things that are helping change the country at its faults. One of the best things about America is that we fight and stand up for progression. And with the protests, conversations, and other call to actions, we are helping give Black people everywhere a voice because we started the Black Lives Matter movement. Sorry for background noise, I just have to film this now. There's only one person up. If I do it later, there's gonna be 5. These people are changing America for the better, and this is why I have hope for the country. And so with these people that change or are willing to change, they are helping how Americans are being perceived abroad. I really hope you can hear me. But Trump is literally a global joke. I don't understand why he has such a big cult following in America. And yeah, obviously he's American, but when there's so many other people in the world, because the US is not the only place in the world, if you're really arguing that it's because he's American, America, there are so many other leaders of other countries that have just as good of a cult following because they do other things and they have followings outside of their own country because they are just so admirable and their policies align with how people wish their country was. I don't think right now anyone wishes to be more like America. But the group that is the cult following of Trump is what America has been perceived as by everyone else because he is on the media so often and our media gets portrayed all around the world. So if you're planning to be a worldwide traveler, then you need to understand that this is what people will perceive you if you are American. When I was studying abroad in Paris, after people learned about where I was from, they constantly asked me, do I like Trump? That was probably the most asked question right after where I'm from. A lot of people would say no to them because the people that like him do not travel as extensively as them. And that just shows the narrow viewpoint that Americans have. But that's what Americans are on media, and that's what people outside of America think of us. So if you hope to travel the world, don't contribute to their bad idea of us. Be a good example of America, the side that is educated, because there are people out there that are more educated on US affairs than most Americans. And there's a lot of them. So, and we don't even consume our own media enough. Or our media doesn't portray accurate information or needed information enough. Or you just don't choose to absorb that media. But you have to stay educated on that matter, and then we can progress like other countries have. So when you travel, you're basically an ambassador for the US, so you have to represent us well. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to have to actually kind of read from my script because I need to get to work soon. Okay, so you have to understand the global viewpoint and just what's going on, like other global events, because you could seem ignorant and that leads to the stereotype of being stupid. But they will probably be asking you things about what's going on and maybe even interrogating you, so you could have a debate, but if you don't know anything then you wouldn't, and if you do agree then you really shouldn't be having a debate. It'll represent the stereotype of America. I had to change to my phone because I didn't have enough storage on that SD card. Wow, look. Me still trying to accomplish my goals. So if you like how dedicated I am to these videos, please subscribe to my channel because I'd really appreciate it. And I have a goal of reaching 300 in by July, but we'll see. Hopefully it makes it, but if not, it's okay because I'm still trying and I still really have to go to work. The people that are gonna get into these arguments because they have such an American mindset, or the typical American mindset, are probably not watching this because they don't travel as extensively or to the ends of the earth like me and what I hope my followers will do. Or maybe they do because their privilege lets them. There are other countries that know way more of what is going on in America than a lot of Americans, like I've mentioned before. And that just makes us need to be even more aware of what's going on in your own country, because if there are people outside your country that know more than the most typical American, then you have to know even more about your own country because they know. Why should people outside your country know more? Like, yeah. So you need to make sure you're aware of everything going on. So like my Australian friends, when I went to Australia in January, they asked me about his impeachment and what I thought about it. And this was like months from not being in the country because I was coming right after Hong Kong study abroad. So I hadn't been in the US in months and I wasn't keeping up with the news like I am now because I just didn't find a way to get news that was working with my schedule. I just didn't, yeah. But now I do. Now I do. You need to find a way to get news that works for your schedule and just how you get media, because it's important to know what's going on. So I really didn't know what to say when they asked, and that's definitely something that I need to work on. And I think now I'm way better at it because I'm able to get the news. But then, like when I was traveling, I wasn't absorbing American news as much. And you still have to because that's where you're from and that's what people are gonna ask about, even though you weren't really there for a while. And it's not like I'm perfect or anything, but I'm just learning from my experiences that this is how Americans are often perceived and how we need to improve so that we can have a better stereotype. We have so many negative stereotypes outside of America, and I'm just trying to help them. Also, because I'm keeping up with the news way more, I'm the one asking my international friends about what's going on. Like a couple of weeks ago, I asked my West Coast Australian friends, because the ones that were asking me were on the East Coast because that's where I was. My West Coast Australian friends about their weather, because in the news it was talking about a really bad storm that was coming to them. So I asked them about it because that's what I do, and I often hear about coronavirus updates on other countries, so I have to check in on my friends because I just hope everyone is safe and okay during this time. I know there's a lot going on. Make sure you're being aware, but also taking care of your health, because this stuff can be really draining. Like yesterday, I was so down about so much stuff going on, and like all that plus what's going on in my own personal life. Like I'll put a little clip about it. But yeah, it's not a good time, but we have hope. People are trying to stop it and we've made progress, and there's still a lot of progress to be made, and it's not happening fast enough, but it's still going. We're still trying. Oh, also, I changed my name. As you can see, I'm officially Miss Worldwide Traveler, and I did that because I'm starting a blog, and I think a blog is gonna help because you can have all the information like written down if you want that, and there'll be slightly more details there. And also, like if I forget to include something in my video then it'll be a good reference. There's going to be more information on there about improving and changing the American travel culture, especially now when it's a good time because we're not traveling that much, so we have time to get better. So yeah, I need to go to work. I also have to eat my breakfast, and then I just work a normal job. It's not that fun. And follow along on my journey from corporate to being a digital nomad so you know that it's legit, and I am waiting for my endless summer. So follow along if you'd like, because it's gonna happen hopefully by 2021. So subscribe, like, comment,